Are you ready?
It's gonna be a hot girl disco summer. I'm never doing that again. I apologize. Why did I do that? Why did I do that? Here, let's fix it. Something cool. What is up? What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Are we live? Is this thing on? Is my head shaved? No, but we're still bald, so it's not that noticeable. Typically, I do my waiver wires and my reaction videos as recorded content, but since time crunch is such a big deal today, I figured I'd do it live. If you guys want to tune in, smash a like, by all means do so. It would really help us a heck of a lot. We are, I want to say, close to 70 subscribers away from our milestone and our major goal of 2,000 subscribers. So please subscribe if you haven't already. We're going to be covering all the top injuries from week 3, who's in danger of, not really having a roster spot and whatnot, players you need to drop or avoid based off of injury reports as well, and just straight up players you need to drop or sell high. Waiver wire steals, the overlooked gems for week 4, how to pivot if your running back, wide receiver, or quarterback is hurt, and live Q&A for your questions if answered. So yeah, we got all that. So without further ado, let's talk about the injuries. Let's talk about CeeDee Lamb and what the injury is. It appears to be a high ankle sprain from all things that I've read and seen. And with that high ankle sprain for CeeDee Lamb, I'm not anticipating that like a Cavante Turpin. I'm not anticipating that a Jalen Tolbert, like Flournoy. All those guys could be valuable, but what this means definitively, especially moving forward next week, where not next week, this week, when they play the Green Bay Packers, is that Jake Ferguson is a smash start, and so is George Pickens. I'm not willing to go out and blow a bunch of fab on a wide receiver 2 option because there's a litany of options, and I don't think any of them are going to be super fantasy relevant. I think they'll be fine tertiary plays in DFS, but I'm not advising you to spend any fab or blow any money on those guys. The same way I didn't advise you guys to get Troy Franklin. And boy, if you guys listen to me this weekend, I said it with my chest, do not start Troy Franklin. It could very well be any of the other 69 million freaking wide receivers that they have there. And it was Cortland Sutton this week. All right, Najee Harris next up. It appears that we've lost Najee Harris for the entire year. It appears that he has ruptured his Achilles. That is a very, very long and extensive rehabilitation process for Najee Harris. Obviously, on your waiver wire, you are not going to be able to find Omarion Hampton whatsoever. But if you guys do need a handcuff, and you got Trey Benson, or you missed out on the Trey Benson sweepstakes because I wouldn't say he was free in a lot of leagues, especially your competitive leagues, but he was available in some waivers, and we'll get to that situation shortly. But with that being said, Hassan Haskins is rostered on 0% lineups, and if anything does happen to Omarion Hampton, you have an elite handcuff right then and there. Slee says lock in Gus Edwards is going to be a Charger. That's a plausibility, but right now Hassan Haskins is the guy on the actual roster with a roster spot, and Hassan Haskins does have a little bit of money, and I anticipate that the split's going to be anywhere between 80 to 20 to 70-30, with Omarion Hampton taking the vast majority of those touches. Hold on, we're getting a message here. Shout out to Derek Brown. This guy's always the nicest guy. He just congratulated me on 9,000 people following me on X. Shout out to you guys. And there's 30 of you watching us on X right now. Head over to the Big Draft Energy YouTube channel. Smash a like, smash a subscription. Would go a really, really long way. So I think Hassan Haskins is somebody that I'm willing to put 5 to 7% of my fab on. He does have legitimacy as a handcuff. And I don't mind the handcuff play of Hassan Haskins. I think that is a good way to lean just based off of his injury. Next injury, and this is one that I think a lot of us expected to happen. It just sucks to see it happen so soon to somebody who was playing such limited snaps leading into the week 3 matchup against the San Francisco 49ers, and that's James Conner. Due to the volatility of the way his knee and ankle twisted and the violence of the injury, I'm not just anticipating that's like an ACL or a fib and tib, but there's going to be like a significant fracture in that entire situation as well. So I'm certain we've lost James Conner for the entire year. And we've probably seen James Conner play the last legitimate snap of his career. So shout out to him. Now, I'm anticipating in vast majority of your leagues, Trey Benson is not going to be available. But when you look at the schedule for the Arizona Cardinals moving forward, it is a tough matchup. But the it's a tough schedule, especially the next 5 weeks. But the one constant that they have is it's advantageous for a receiving back. We saw Amari DeMarcado come in, especially on a small sample size, but we've seen him historically come in and fill the role of the receiving back in the receiving role. Now, if you're down several players with injuries, and this year has been rough for injuries, I don't think Amari DeMarcado in PPR format is a bad pickup. I'm willing to spend 15 to 20% of my fab to make sure that I secure this back in my lineup because he has a clear path to usage immediately, and he has a clear passage to usage as a third down back, as the receiving back in that role that we've seen him succeed and do really well before. So I am very bullish on Amari DeMarcado. I like Amari DeMarcado a lot. Next injury, we got Tyrone Tracy. Tyrone Tracy went down with injury. It appears to be a shoulder injury. Could also be the femur attached to the bicep. And yes, there's a femur in the actual arm itself as well. I haven't heard or read any word. Once again, I literally just got home, so a little bit behind there. But obviously, Cam Scatabo is the real deal. I almost called him Scam Scatabo again, but he ain't no scam. Dude's the real deal. He's legit. He's too legit. With that being said, with Cam Scatabo being legit and probably not available in any sort of waiver wire, I'm not advising you guys to go and pick up a guy like Devin Singletary. I'm just going to wait to see what they do in their free agency or their waiver wire situation, who they bring in, who they trade for, who they make a move for, depending on how long we see Tyrone Tracy out for. Devin Singletary is not somebody I'm recommending that you guys stash because Cam Scatabo is young. He's productive, and dude is fierce, and he's going to get all the usage in an offense that's going to struggle continuously. It's a really, really bad offense, and they got a horrible Week 4 matchup against the Los Angeles Chargers. So yeah, I'm not advising that you guys pivot that direction. But sticking with the New York Giants news, Brian Dable was quoted saying, "We are going to reevaluate everything after this game," when a beat reporter asked him if Russell Wilson was a starter. And then the beat reporter doubled down and said, "So does that mean that you're reevaluating if Russell Wilson is in fact the starter or not?" And he said, "We are going to go back. We're going to look at the tape. We're going to study." And I'm just, quoting it like it's not a direct quote, but I'm summarizing the quote essentially. He said, "We're going to look back at the tape. We're going to reevaluate internally, and then we're going to come up with a decision on how to proceed moving forward." So, yeah. Yeah. Kamani Vidal, what you mean so good? Kamani Vidal is not an option. It's Hassan Haskins for sure. Happy Monday, says Kobe and the Cow Dogs. Happy Monday to you. Jackson Dart, for the love of God. Yes, sir. Jackson Dart. Shout out to Sleaze Bomb. And he'll be live shortly, guys. So if you guys are watching us, I'll be heading over there. You guys won't have to leave the stream. It'll be at 7 p.m. Eastern time. We're also recording this video, so we're going to be posting this as recorded content as well. And I think this is going smoothly. This is going really well. So yeah, we're going to be live over on his show right after this as well. All right, so going into the next situation, we got Mike Evans with a hamstring injury. Shocker. If somebody has been telling you guys all offseason, do not draft Mike Evans, he's going to miss time with the same lingering hamstring injury, I would feel sorry for you guys. I would feel bad because you guys spent that top 17 draft capital on him in the offseason. If somebody has been saying all offseason, and I'm that somebody, I've been telling you guys all offseason, do not draft Mike Evans because of the lingering hamstring injury, because of the year 32 and the decline that we see, the age of decline at the wide receiver position, especially for guys like Mike Evans. It's unfortunate that he went down with a hamstring injury. There's no definitive notion on when he is to return, but I think that based off of the history and the continuous re-aggravation of the hamstring situation that we've seen with Mike Evans, he is going to be a PUP candidate So yes, Chris Godwin is going to come back and he's going to step in and he's going to fill in, but we don't know when, and we also don't know how big of a ramp up it is. So right now, based off of snap percentage, Sterling Shepard seems like the next wide receiver up, other than Emeka Egbuka. And if Emeka Egbuka is a free agent in your fantasy football league, please invite me into that one. So Sterling Shepard's next up. Tez Johnson's an interesting name. Like I'm not in on it. I don't hate it, but what this means definitively is we're going to see, and like I'm not going to blow a lot of fab, if any, on Sterling Shepard because it's hard to project him, right? I think he's a fantastic DFS tertiary play, especially with their upcoming matchup. But with that being said, I think the usage and the snaps, this is where we see Kate Otten explode, and Kate Otten's available in the vast majority of your lineups. Plus, Kate Otten has a pretty decent matchup coming into week 4. Just let me pull this up. I don't remember who the hell they're playing. The Philadelphia Eagles. So yeah, it's not a great matchup for Kate Otten, but he's going to, let's be real, it's not a great matchup. I was wrong. I misread that one. But Kate Otten is still a legitimate waiver wire pickup because of the fact that Mike Evans should be on the pup and will be a puppy moving forward for the next 4 weeks at least. So Kate Otten's going to be hyper focused, and I think Rachaad White also gets an uptick in usage. We're going to see a lot of formations where we see a lot of Rachaad White. We're going to see a lot of Bucky Irving. So for that, I also advise that you stash a Sean Tucker because we're going to see an increase in Sean Tucker's snap shares as well. Sean Tucker will be fantasy viable moving forward as long as Mike Evans is out and missing time, and we don't see Chris Godwin at 100%. So there's a lot of really, 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 really good juice out of the guys from Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And we've been prepared for this. Anybody who's been following me in my content all offseason, we've been prepared for the Mike Evans injury. It happened sooner than we anticipated and expected, but it was inevitable. It was going to happen. All right, next injury, Terry McLaurin. He came down with a quad. We don't know definitively if the quad is a severe injury. It just seems like it was a pull-up and like a pretty mundane injury, nothing to write home about. I'm not anticipating that he misses a significant amount of time. And the only reason why he didn't play the rest of the game is because they didn't want to risk his health moving forward. This is just my bet, what I'm saying. They didn't want to risk his health in a game that they already had in the bag. They were absolutely dominating the Las Vegas Raiders from the beginning to the end there. So with that being said, if McLaurin is to miss time, next up would be Jalen Lane, who had 30% snap share week 1, 52% snap share week 2, 24% snap share week 3. But it seems like the direct backup, especially when he went out, the guy who replaced him on all the X snaps, the name is actually Chris Moore. He missed week 2. He played 27% of the snaps week 1, but he also played 57% of the snaps week 3 after Terry McLaurin went down. So Chris Moore is somebody who I'd be interested in. Luke McCaffrey, maybe he did find the end zone, or he had an explosive play against the Raiders. Nevertheless, I'm not blowing or spending any fab on any of these guys. I think the one guy who's still available in a lot of leagues and has legitimate usage and will continue to have legitimate usage is Jerry McNichols. That's the guy that you want to pick up in your waiver wires across the board. I think this gives Deebo Samuel a bump. I like Jalen Lane as a great splash play in DFS. But if I have to choose between Noah Brown, who missed week 3, Chris Moore, who missed week 2, or Luke McCaffrey, who has been missing up until the injury, it's tough to choose one in particular because none of them stands out in the scheme, and it's all indicative of will we see a healthy Jaden Daniels this week in Washington's matchup. Washington Commanders play the Atlanta Falcons. So yeah, yikes. I'm not telling you guys to go pick up Kirk Cousins because even though Kirk Cousins did see limited snaps after Michael Penix was inserted and blew his load way too early and scored 0 points against the worst defense in the NFL that we thought, the Carolina Panthers. Yeah, yikes. Okay, we got some chats. Frosty, yo, what's up, buddy? AJ, we'll get to that, buddy. We're just gonna wrap this up. How much fab on Benson? I have $78. Spend it all, Frosty. Honestly, this is the one that you need to spend all of your fab on, Frosty. Trey Benson is a legitimate league winner. If he's available in your fantasy football league, blow all of your fab. My RBs are cooked right now. Yikes, man. Rio says picking Genti over HN is haunting me, brother. I told you. Well, Rio. I don't know if you knew me prior to this, but anybody who knows me knows that like Ashton Genti was my biggest fade in round one. BTJ is killing me right now, and he was my like most owned in round one. Him and Puka Nakua. One of them is fantastic for me. One of them's terrible. No Kittle, CD, London, Chase Brown, and Henderson all suck. So here's the thing with Henderson. We'll touch base on the Henderson situation for sure. Sleaze says all of your fab 100% agreed with Sleaze, and we will be live on his show in 25 minutes. I have a trade question. Would you trade Judkins for? Would you trade Judkins for Tet? Guy needs an RB bad. Connor injury killed him. My other RBs are Kyron, Gibbs, Hampton. Absolutely, you got to take that trade. I'm curious who your other wide receivers are, but you got to take that trade. That's a major upgrade right there. Yeah, you did tell me. That's why I came back. Hey, man, we're here for you. We also got the guys Fantasy Football Patreon, where we literally help people who dug themselves into a hole fix their lineups and make their playoffs and potentially make a run for it. And it's with my partner here, Sleazebomb, who also says smash that Rio. So yeah, going back to, I think there's one more injury situation that we need to address. Okay, so the last injury situation that we need to address on the waiver wires is Juan Jennings. He looked like he was gearing up to play. He was booked as doubtful like the last day, the Saturday or the Friday leading into the Sunday matchup. But when he was out, Kendrick Bourne saw the vast majority of the snaps. If he's back, plus Mac Jones not being the starter moving forward, I think we see Brock Purdy back as well. It's okay to drop Mac Jones. I think Kendrick Bourne is only somebody that you need to pick up because Sky Moore, whatever, 52% of the snaps is fine. Marquez Valdez-Scantling, 26% of the snaps, that's fine. But Kendrick Bourne, week 2, even with both wide receivers out there, he still managed to play 49% of the snaps. And then last week, 72% of the snaps. And as a Patriots fan, I am a big fan of Kendrick Bourne and his ability to break free. I don't hate him if you have a deeper roster as a stash. I think Kendrick Bourne's a fine stash play there. But I would also just be cautious because I think Juan Jennings will be back. But if Juan Jennings is not back, this is the matchup against the Jacksonville Jaguars where you want to pick up Kendrick Bourne and roster him if Juan Jennings is out. So you don't have to spend any fab on him. I don't think anybody's going to be claiming him, but he has a lot of upside that I think a lot of people are not considering. All right, let's talk about some of those guys who let's talk about this week's Troy Franklin. And it's the Troy Franklin effect, not the Quentin Johnston effect, because for 3 weeks in a row, Quentin Johnston is legit, and I'm done doubting Quentin Johnston. I'm done hating on Quentin Johnston. So this week's Troy Franklin, and we told you guys, if you were listening to me and Sleaze, do not blow any fab on Troy Franklin because it's going to be anybody. This week's Troy Franklin is Trey Tucker. It's Trey Tucker, and he benefited incredibly. He put up, 38, 42 fantasy points, PPR format. Dude was an absolute monster and a beast, but you cannot and should not, if you're watching this, you cannot and should not spend a single cent of your fab on this guy because to project his consistency moving forward is next to impossible. They do have a very advantageous matchup this week against, I believe, the Chicago Bears. It is a plus matchup for wide receivers across the board because based off of every quantifiable, measurable situation out there, the Chicago Bears is very, very plus matchup for wide receivers. But I wouldn't be shocked if this week it's Dante Thornton and not Trey Tucker. And if Trey Tucker does it 2 weeks in a row, I'm done doubting him. But I'm telling you right now, don't spend your fab on him. He is going to disappoint you just like Troy Franklin did. We cannot chase last week's results. Tyquan Thornton was my smash pickup if Xavier Worthy missed. He was fantastic. And we're going backwards from the Sunday Night Football game. Hopefully Xavier Worthy is back because I definitely need him to be back. Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs did win. The 49ers game was a tight game, a close game. Unfortunately, Nick Bosa's got a torn ACL, and he looks like he'll be missing the majority of the season, if not the entire season. So God bless him and God bless that defense. I don't think that defense is droppable, but I also don't think that that's a fantastic situation moving forward for that defense because he was everything and anything for them in both the run and the pass rush. CeeDee Lamb went down. We talked about, you could pick up Turpin, you could pick up Tolbert. I think Turpin's the more explosive of the two if you want to. Pick one or the other. I think they have next to no floor, but they have an incredibly high ceiling, especially Turpin with his explosive play profile. It is not a great matchup against Green Bay on Sunday Night Football, though. I'll tell you that for free. It is going to be Jake Ferguson. It's going to be a lot of George Pickens. Those are going to be the guys who are going to be hyper-fed because looks like Lamb should miss 2 weeks, potentially 3 weeks based off of this high ankle sprain. Right now, we're saying 2 weeks. It's a tough matchup against a Green Bay defense that just got that just lost the game. It wasn't due to their inability. So they're going to be hungry. They're going to be ready to feast. I think I'm not spending any fab on Turpin. I'm not spending any fab on Tolbert. It's Ferguson week. It's Pickens week. Hopefully Javonte could do something, but I'm not expecting much from Javonte either moving forward. And yeah, it was just ugly, man, because there were so many opportunities where they kept the game close and George Pickens had the ball in his hand and he tipped it up. And then we saw Tremaine Edmonds come down with a very athletic catch and interception. And the game could have been closer than it was, but kudos to the Bears. They're great. And they have another pretty decent matchup against the Las Vegas Raiders coming up. So we might see them break 500 here. Okay, let's look at the Broncos and Chargers. And Najee Harris out for the year. Omarion Hampton to the moon. Hassan Haskins is next up behind Omarion Hampton. And I'm telling you, it's okay if you spend 8% of your fab to go get Hassan Haskins. As for the Denver Broncos, still not much RJ Harvey. Here, let me pull up the snaps, actually. All right, so week 3, the snaps were worse for RJ Harvey than they were in week 2. Week 2, he had 33% of the snaps, 19 snaps. Week 1, he had 22 snaps. Week 3, he had only 15 snaps, which was back down to 29%. Not great at all. Even Adam Prentice is getting a lot of snaps in the backfield. And Tyler Bidet, it's nice to see Tyler Bidet's usage go down. It is terrible to see J.K. Dobbins' usage go up. But with that being said, Denver has one of the easiest matchups on the schedule next week in Monday Night Football, which is the Cincinnati Bengals. And if RJ Harvey is going to break big, I think this is the game he should do it. So he's a fantastic buy low option. And then J.K. Dobbins, guys, we know that his name is just kidding. I don't have an ACL or MCL or hardly an Achilles or a contract. So eventually it's going to happen and the wheels are going to fall off there. So we talked about the Chargers. Quentin Johnston's for real, man. Quentin Johnston's for real. He's the real deal. Like week 2, I said, fool me once. Week 1, I said, fool me once. Week 2, I said, it ain't going to happen again. It happened again in week 2. I said, week 3, if he does again week 3, he's legit. He's legitness, man. Quentin Johnston's a must start moving forward. All right, Saints versus Seahawks. Not much to talk about here. That game was a blowout from the get-go. The Seahawks defense, absolutely phenomenal, and we're going to see them on Thursday Night Football against the Arizona Cardinals in an NFC West showdown. Not much to talk about that game on the Saints side. Not much to write home about. Packers, Browns. I don't think there's any waiver wire assets out there, but the Packers have one of the most advantageous matchups in football this upcoming week against the Dallas Cowboys secondary. So I know I should save this for my start sit, but just start every one of your Green Bay Packers against the Dallas Cowboys this week. It's going to be great. It's going to be really, really good for you. Yeah, you're welcome. Falcons, Panthers, 30-0 blowout where the Falcons got absolutely demolished. We thought this was going to be a Bijan Robinson monstrosity of a performance, and he did diddly squat nada. Bryce Young was serviceable. He looked good. And the Carolina Panthers have the New England Patriots this upcoming week. And if the New England Patriots are missing Christian Gonzalez once again, hey, man, it's a smash start situation for Bryce Young. So if he's available on your waiver wire and you've got like Carson Wentz, who a lot of people are going to be trying to pick up right now, and I'm going to advise you not to because the Pittsburgh Steelers are figuring their shit out. And they got Pittsburgh in Dublin. It's going to be wiry. All right. Holy crap. My best 3 receivers are Golden, Pickens, Shakir, and Downs. Well, you're gonna be good there. Take that trade for sure, though. I don't think the Raiders O-line was that bad. Just about, I told you guys it was that bad. Mac Jizzle, Jones, all heart baby, lays it on the line for 3-0. Hey man, Mac Jones was fantastic for you guys. Wish I could say the same about him when he was with my Patriots. When do you think Henderson will take over that backfield? Honestly, man, like last week on Saturday, I told Sleaze and I told what's his name? Billy Gibble and Stat ATL. And on Sunday, I even repeated, I said, Ramondre Stevenson is going to find a way to blow this job and give it to Travion Henderson. But it's tough to give the benefit of the doubt to Josh McDaniels because Josh McDaniels just sometimes doesn't want to do the right thing. He's probably going to go back to Ramondre in a very plus matchup against a Carolina's defense that sucks. But if any week is the week that should be Travion Henderson's week in theory, it's this upcoming week against the Carolina Panthers. This week, hell yes, Sleaze. Hopefully now. What do we think about Ridley? What do we do with Ridley, man? Wait. Don't start him anymore. Just wait. And if he pops once, sell him for a half-eaten Twinkie. I need to pick up a wide receiver this week with Lamb injury, A.O. Manor, Tucker, or Burden. A.O. Manor. A.O. Manor's for real, man. The target share keeps going up. The usage the usership keeps going up. Usership, what the fuck? And he's just been fantastic. And we're seeing an ascending talent and reliability between him and Cam Ward that's undeniable. Eventually, Calvin Ridley will pop, but it's tough to project that because this is a very plus matchup for him. But we see A.O. Manor continuously ascend and be the real deal. And he's definitely the play this week, especially since I believe it's a bad matchup for the Tennessee Titans, if I'm not mistaken. The Houston Texans. Yeah, it's one of the worst matchups. But Stingley should be on Calvin Ridley if Stingley's back from injury. I drafted the most overhyped team. Heard. Trey Tucker has played 90% all 3 weeks. I disagree. That's top 10 wide receiver usage. All right. Want to bet? Is CD going to be on IR? No, CD's not going to be on IR. It's a high ankle sprain. Like he was able to walk, he was able to try cutting on it. It's just like as a wide receiver, there's a lot of torque when you try to step on the field and make your cuts, and that has the high ankle, implicated and aggravated and agitated in that process. So yeah, who's a receiver you're high on rest of the season that I could buy right now with a Hampton offer? Why are you trading Hampton? Why are you trading Hampton? Do not sell Hampton. Yeah, don't do that. Just lost CD for a few weeks, probably 2. Out of these players, what do you think is a good package for London, half PPR? Chuba, Olave, Ridley, Persall, or Sutton? I would say Olave and Ridley. Those are the only guys who I'm comfortable getting rid of. If you could try to package Olave and Ridley for London, then fine, because London's value isn't going to be any lower moving forward. If Fields plays next week, what do I play him or Nix? Fields has the Miami Dolphins, so Fields is a smash start. Bo Nix plays the Cincinnati Bengals, also a smash start. I think the rushing upside for Fields gives him a little bit of that bump. 20 views, holy crap! For an impromptu stream, that's pretty dope. Pretty dope for an impromptu stream. I think Brian Daboll may be missing opposing thumbs. Shout out to 2 meals in a cart. How high are you up in the drafters rankings right now? Chooses not to use his best player for most of the game. Not very smart. It is a slow ramp up for Andrew Thomas for what it's worth. Like they weren't anticipating 100% snap share, so he was going to be limited, and it's better that he was limited for a game as opposed to being limited for the entire season. Bones, what's up, buddy? Good to see you. I should have played A.O. Manor or over Travis Hunter this week. I knew it. Did I advise you otherwise? I'm pretty sure I said A.O. Manor. I will play A.O. Manor this week, and he will bust. So sorry ahead of time, guys. No, it's not you, man. Sup, fam? What's up, Hoohames? Good to see you, brother. Did you think Kirk gets his job back from Penix? I think there's a possibility. Honestly, right now it's up in the air. I don't think it's going to be immediate. I think if Michael Penix puts up another dud this week against the who do they play? Against the Commanders, which is a plus matchup. I think if he puts up another dud this week against the Commanders, he may get pipped, which would be the ultimate redemption story. 19, you're 19th. That's crazy. That's crazy. Congrats, man. Is BTJ going to get shot out of cannon soon? Honestly, I think he's dealing with a lot of stuff mentally. I hope he gets shot out of cannon soon. It's another really difficult matchup against the San Francisco 49ers this week, though. Hello, what's up, Fly Eagles 39? Good to see you, Cam. I hope you're having a great day. Vikings already have ruled out JJ McCarthy for Sunday's game against the Steelers in Dublin. Yeah, he's out 2 to 4 weeks, Bones. He's out 2 to 4 weeks. So another 1 week minimum to another 3 weeks for sure. But Jordan Addison's back, and I think this bumps up TJ Hawkinson. It was nice to see TJ Hawkinson come back. So we're going to go to the next game. Bengals Vikings. Holy shit. Everybody knew it was going to be Jordan Mason week, and it was. But what people didn't know it was going to be was the Minnesota Vikings week. I thought the Bengals would be able to put up a better fight. Chase Brown continues to be a trash can of a football player. Jake Browning is the worst version of Jameis Winston. I said he was the Caucasian version of Jameis Winston, and I am correct. But we saw the worst version of Jameis Winston. That's another guy on the New York Giants. Just trade Jameis Winston, send him somewhere where a quarterback needy team with an injury could use him. Like Cincinnati would be a fantastic landing spot. God, that would be amazing for fantasy football. It would be so good for fantasy football. Indianapolis Colts versus the Tennessee Titans. I like Tony Pollard for an anytime touchdown. Tony Pollard found the end zone. I love Jonathan Taylor this matchup. I love Tyler Warren. Warren looked good on the field. Like he looked like a great football player. The fantasy production wasn't necessarily there, but sometimes shit like that happens. But he was still fantastic, especially as a blocker. Really, really good to see. I was wrong about Indiana Jones. Indiana Jones is absolutely fantastic, man. Okay. Who do you think is the wide receiver to own in LA rest of the season? QJ, Ladd, or Allen? For me, it's still Ladd McConkey. It's not based off of the ADP, it's just based off of the ability. Eventually, when the weather gets colder, the slot gets a little bit more usage and they get to be a little bit more dominant, and the footing gets a little bit worse for the defenders. And that's where he's going to reign supreme. I think the only thing that concerns me with Ladd is the fact that we're seeing him almost at a 60-40 split with Keenan Allen in the slot there. QJ is 100% out wide 100% of the time. So Ladd is still the guy. You want the guys who are going to be hyper-focused in the slot when weather gets colder leading into your fantasy football playoffs, especially with tougher footing. We've seen him perform historically as a second half player just last year. And I anticipate that's going to be the way it's going to go this year. And he's put up serviceable numbers. Like he's been decent. Is Marvin Harrison Jr. looking like the next superstar bust? Those drops are concerning. Can't blame Kyler Murray for those drops. He had 2 significant drops this week. He had a massive one last week against Carolina. It's been bad, man. BTJ putting up 40 some week when everyone has given up on him. I'm never giving up on him. That's the thing. Probably Who Hames. BDE, thanks for popping up before Monday Night Football. My pleasure, man. In 7 minutes, we'll be leading into Sleazebomb stream. In 7 minutes, we'll be heading over to Sleazebomb stream. So you guys won't have to leave. We got the raid set up. We'll be going directly to his stream right then and there. Shout out to you guys. If you were one of the 141 people watching us on the Big Draft Energy YouTube, on the Big Draft Energy Twitter channel, guys, if all 141 of you, even if half of you came over to the Big Draft Energy YouTube channel, smash the subscribe, I would hit my goal of 2,000 subscribers, which would make a 6'8", 320-pound man cry, because like we've gone through fucking hell to get this far, but we haven't come this far to come this far. But please, I'm saying that to say this, please come over to the Big Draft Energy YouTube channel, smash the subscription, please. It's free, costs you nothing. It would mean the absolute world to me, and it's very easy to do. Tyler Booker hurt too. Don't say that. How bad's the injury, Cam? There's no way Bengals are going to keep rolling with Browning, right? Yeah. I mean, logistically, I think you're right. Is Gatson a possible tight end pickup? I would say so, and he has a pretty plus matchup this week against the New York Giants. I would say he's a viable pickup if you have like an extremely deep bench. If you have an extremely deep bench and you got several injuries and several players on the IR, I wouldn't mind picking up Gatson. But it is also like and shout out to you, Scrappy Mo. Thanks for swinging by. I also think when you look at like the options, he would be 5th or 6th in the pecking order in terms of targets there. He just had a good matchup against a team that we knew was going to be weak against the tight end position. But great question. Bones, wonder if Jaden Daniels plays this week. Not if Indiana, if not, it's Indiana Jones 2 this week. So Indiana Jones plays the LA Rams. Yikes. That's a tough matchup. Philly Mike OG. Oh, Philly Mike OG is the guy who always drops the bullshit news. Would you trade Etienne and Scottable for Bucky in a heartbeat? Rank waiver wire priority for me. Clint says full point PPR and standard, please. Booty, Trey Tucker, Tyquan Thornton, or Coker. Coker and Tyquan Thornton's one of those guys I'm not adding unless Xavier Worthy's out again. And like, I don't think he has much value if Xavier Worthy's out. If Xavier Worthy's in the lineup, because he is Worthy's direct replacement. Arizona is a dumpster fire. So is Jacksonville. Hell yeah. Scottable League winner. I mean, he's legit, and I'm the first to concede that I was the biggest. Like, I called him scam Scottable all offseason, and I concede I was wrong about him. He's the real deal. Get active, recap time, Raven smash, and cover points. Let's go. I want to see how Pickens does with no CD. Every other year I drafted him, he was so underwhelming. It's not the matchup to see it, man, against the Packers. Man has high ankle too. It's easier for an offensive lineman to play through a high ankle than a wide receiver, though, for what it's worth. When you're going through hell, keep going. I think it was somewhere in Macbeth. Hell yeah, man. Hell yeah. If I can get a solid RB1 from trading Pollard and Warren, who's the guy I can target? Oh, fuck. Pollard, Warren for Chase Brown. I think you could get a Chase Brown. And I'm okay with picking up Chase Brown because eventually he's going to pop. And I love buying low and selling high. And I think this is an all-time high for both Pollard and Jalen Warren for you to sell high on both of them and get Chase Brown. Chase Brown's value, I don't think can get much lower unless he gets hurt. So yeah, Chase Brown is definitely somebody who I would target. And I would say Breece Hall is another person I would target. Genty is a fine target, but I knew Genty wasn't going to ball out. So Breece Hall, I think, is going to be fantastic, especially this upcoming week. Breece Hall has RB1 written all over his name. I forgot to mention I have Chase Brown. Okay, so then it's Breece Hall. It's Breece Hall. Easy peasy, man. Easy peasy. All right, let's see if we can continue to wrap up before we head over to Sleaze's channel. Thank you guys for rocking with me. Honestly, it's impromptu stream. Didn't have enough time today to go through the whole recording thing, so I just figured I'd give you guys my waiver wire targets. Now, hopefully, you guys who are watching this back, you guys can see what we do, and we're going to be live Thursday at 5 p.m. Eastern time because Sleaze is going to Vegas. We're going to be live on Saturday at 7 p.m. Eastern time. And we're going to be live on Sunday morning, even though there's an early morning football game that kicks off at 9:30 a.m. We'll be live here at 8 a.m. answering all of your questions because that's what we do here. We're here for you guys. If you're not up early, I apologize. But we'll be up early for you guys on Big Game Day Energy. I love Big Game Day Energy, man. All right, Rams, Eagles. Holy shit, A.J. Brown is back and back in such a way. And Jalen Hurts answered the question. If he needs to throw the ball, he is one of the better quarterbacks in the NFL, and he's got that rushing upside. So for every hater who ever doubted Jalen Hurts, go fuck yourself, respectfully. No, I mean the most disrespect. And Puka Nacua, man, just find the end zone. Find a receiving touchdown end zone. Oh, man. Yeah, just so good. They got a pretty decent matchup this week. Texans, Jags, CJ Stroud does not look right. Neither does Trevor Lawrence. And in a game where I thought that the Houston defense would be the one to dominate, it was actually the Jags defense that came through. But it was nice to see. It was very nice to see Brian Thomas Jr. come up clutch with that monster reception in the later portion of the fourth quarter there to seal the game. Commanders versus Raiders. Geno Smith plus matchup this week, guys. If any, and it's when we expect Geno Smith to do well, where he typically doesn't. But Geno Smith is startable week 4. I love Geno Smith as a waiver wire target, somebody that you should pick up in your waiver wires because this is as plush of a matchup as a quarterback can have against the Chicago Bears. Jets, Bucks, we lost Mike Evans. The answer is more Emeka Egbuka. And the next answer is, and I'm telling you guys, spend a little bit of waiver wire money, spend a little bit of fab on Kate Otten. New England Patriots versus the Pittsburgh Steelers. Not only did I say that Ramondre Stevenson would find a way to fumble this job, but I also said that this was a get-right game for the Pittsburgh Steelers. All right, guys. Once again, you guys don't have to go anywhere. We are going to head over to Sleazebomb's channel right now. So don't go anywhere. Make sure you guys smash a sub over there for my guy Sleazebomb. Thank you guys who smashed a like, who rock with me. If you guys enjoyed this content, please subscribe. And I'll see you guys over on Sleaze's channel. And we'll be posting all of our start sits tomorrow and on Wednesday. Peace, or see you on the other.